Hello friends, it's Dandylion here with another episode of Crusader Kings Let's Play. And last time we left, we just got done with our pilgrimage to the Holy Land, and we're playing as King Art Craig. Um, is that right? No. Hold on. Nah, I don't think that's right. I think Art Craig was the first one. Ah, yes, there it is. Sorry, we were playing as, yes, Patrick Sithrigi. And we had just finished playing or doing our pilgrimage, and we were going to look at starting to look at our options for taking over Desmond. And something I just realized. So the well, actually, no. Let me pause, and I just want to talk a little bit about this game. Um, so we went over kind of tutorial stuff before, and now we're actually going to get into the nitty gritty of the Let's Play here. And I will say this, that I am not an expert at this game. I, by saying that, I have played hundreds of hours of this, but I still feel like I'm learning the game. And I'm pretty sure that the same thing is going to be happening to you guys too. When you start playing this, you're going to realize, as you play, the things are going to come to you, and situations are going to come up, and you're going to be learning in this game as you play. And it's not like, you know, say, I don't know, like Call of Duty or whatever, where, after the first hour or so, you've got everything down. This takes months of playing. Fun playing, but months to be able to learn everything. And I don't think there's anyone out there who knows everything about this game. Maybe some of the developers, maybe, but it's hard to know everything about this game. And every playthrough is so different that it's hard to have a good like sense of every start on the board. And I sincerely doubt that someone has gone through and played every start possible in this game. So every game is going to be completely different here, and you're going to come across new situations, new things each time. Even using the same ruler and same start, things are going to play out differently. Who knows what might happen with the war in England, for example. Right now, Scotland, and there's a Scottish revolt happening. That didn't happen in the last game. So, but what we were going to look at is, oh, I'm sorry, was going to look at what we can do about Desmond here. And it's ruled by Earl Murdoch, and his heir is his oldest son, who also kind of likes me. I wonder if we offer him vassalization, would he offer it? No. And that's mostly because he's has power. So that's not going to happen. All right, so we're going to have to take him over the old-fashioned way. In order for us to do that, what we're going to need to do is have enough military might to take him over. So we know that he's going to have a levy of 1,000, but probably higher. Probably more like 1,500 or so. And we know that our military is only going to be about 1,200. So it is kind of a priority for us to take this over, because other things will fall in the line, and plus, this is something that we have a de jure claim over. We don't have to fabricate anything. We don't have to take it. We don't have to take a prestige hit for this. It's just all in all, just like a good idea to take this over first. Um, there's something to be said about taking Ossory over first because they have a relatively, oh no, not Ossory, it's a Kildare. Yeah, Kildare first, because they have, you know, and uh, they have a really small um, fort, um, and even them, they might have enough. They might have an equal amount of people against us. So what about Leinster? Yeah. So we might. What we might want to do is look even closer at these three to see which one is in the weakest position. So if we look at him and we look at his vassals, um, we know that he's not going to get anything from the mayor, but he's going to get something from the bishop. He's going to get a lot from the bishop. So we can factor that into his levy. So we know he's going to get 820 here, and he's going to get, about another 200 to 300 here. So we know that he's going to be over 1,000. So it'll be a pretty even fight here, and he's not going to get any from the town. So that's about an even matchup for us, is Leinster. What about Ossory? Well, they have a large levy, so that immediately kind of points in the direction that it's probably not a good idea. But he's not getting anything from the mayor, and he's not getting anything from the bishopry. So, and also, there's a local revolt risk. So we could, for example, send our diplomat there to try and incite the revolt even more, and try and trigger a revolt, and then take advantage of that revolt, because he's going to lose a lot of soldiers during that revolt, and then after that we'll be able to sweep in. So that Ossory does look kind of like the way to go. We could go with Kildare. They have the small amount, and his vassals, sort of like him. Again, we could theoretically do this. You also have to look at the garrison sizes. Basically, if any of them have extremely large garrisons, that's going to be difficult to siege. So Ossory has the largest garrison. Let's look at Connacht too. So their garrison. So that one's also not too bad. They all look about the same. So you know what? Now let's look at him again. How about his vassals? His vassals do not like him as much. So that's good information. Now we know that his 1073 is all that he has. And our military is at about 1,300. Now, considering that this is plains, and we're not actually going to be going anywhere, there's no river crossing, there's no nothing into this, it might just be best to press this claim and give it a shot. Worst case scenario, what we can do is we can go into the intrigue panel, and we can take the loan from the Jewish merchants. There's no conditions on this, so if for example we start losing this battle here, or we don't have enough soldiers, or any number of things that could happen here, we could take this loan, buy some mercenaries, and smash face, and call it a day, and then deal with the consequences of the loan later. I think that's what we're going to end up doing. I think we can do it now. Because if his position increases at all, that could be a problem. But I think to make things a little bit better, Um, we know that um, the person who's going to have the most troops to give is Ragnvald. If we give him a gift, that'll increase the amount of soldiers that he's going to be able to give us. So this will get rid of a good chunk of it, but 56 is really good. So we're going to do that. And let's see how many soldiers. And see, now that gives us 300 more soldiers. Or 200 more soldiers. That is going to be plenty to get rid of Desmond. Alright, so we know that this is the de jure claim that we have. So we'll go into the diplomacy. And we're going to declare war. And you cannot declare war without a reason to declare war. You have to have some kind of casus belli, or casus belli, or some kind of like reason to declare war. And for us, it's because by rule, because we have Thomond and Ormond, we have rights to own to also have this land for us. So we're going to press this claim. My advice: never declare war unless the game is paused, because you want to raise your armies immediately. You can't. There are some conditions. If you have betrothals between close relatives of the rulers, you also can't declare war. Both sides have to be independent of each other when you're declaring war against counts. You can't be bankrupt, and you can't already be at war, and you can't you can't be at a truce, because you can lose a lot of prestige that way. So we're going to send this, and we are now at war. Okay, so what does that mean? We can call in our allies, so we can call in King Anso, which he may or may not say yes to. We're going to go ahead and say yes, even though he's not going to send anything. This will further ties between us and Navarra. Now, Navarra is a long way away, and, he also has a whole lot of other problems going on. He's got a Muslim invasion of his land going on. He's only down to 2 counties himself, so chances are he's not going to help us, but it's worth calling anyway, just for the diplomacy's sake. Yeah, see, he already has 2 wars going on. One against France, so he's not going to help us at all. Alright, so to raise your army, you go into the military, and you raise your personal levies. So this will raise it from your domain, which for us is just Thomond at the moment. So that's 1085. And then from your vassals. So you can raise the county levies, which will raise the city of Limerick, or you can raise the vassal levies. Well, since the vassal levies is this one, which is much larger than this one, we are going to raise that one. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. The city of Limerick is in Thomond. All right. So to select a military unit, you just click on it, and you see that we're in charge of this rank. We're leading it. It's probably a good idea for us to lead it. So there's no character here. You can also click and drag and create a box to select multiples. So the first thing we want to do is actually to consolidate all of our armies together. So what we want to do is select this unit, and you right click where you want to send it. So we wanted this one to go to Thomond. And it's going to take a number of days for them to get there. If we hover over it, it'll say that it's going to take a little under a month for them to walk over there, which is fine. Wars take time. So we're going to see how big does he get. He got to 1231. That's how many he raised. That's fine. We'll see what he ends up doing. So you notice now that there's a little line that's kind of growing here. This is his morale. And so you can see that the morale of the is my Count's army is really small. Mine is already up high. Oh yay! So he's going to come help us, but not really. He's probably not going to send anybody. Okay, so they're almost there. October 20th is when they're going to arrive. 13th, 14th. All right, they're there. They actually arrived early. So we're going to select all three of these. And if you notice up here that there is a merge the selected units. This will merge all of these into one unit, which we definitely want to do. Okay, so now you see that they create them in flanks. Probably not the best bet, but, you know. So basically you get a combat modifier that's based off of your rank plus whatever, or your martial rating plus whatever other things. So we have patient, which gives us another 20% defense. But let's see if our yeah, so we are the best, probably the best person for that. Yeah, looks like we are probably going to be the best person for it. Or maybe this guy is, because he has morale damage, which is what we definitely want. But his defense is not higher. So let's add him and let's see what happens there. So now we have a 15% morale damage. That means that we are going to cause their morale to go down 15% faster, which, considering everything, is a good plan. Alright, so now that this army is merged and we have a character leading it, and you can basically put whatever character you want on it. We are going to move this army into Desmond. So that army is going to get to Desmond on the 5th of November. Okay, so we're just going to let it go. And he's staying put. Now, you can see that our thing here is kind of low, but it's basically because our flanks are low. And I'm okay with that being low. So that's going to go up about 40% by the time we get there. His is probably going to go up about the same too. So we'll be about equal footing when I get there. But I have 300 more men, and I'm going to cause morale hurting faster. Alright, so here we go. We're getting close. And here's the battle. Right here. Okay, so I'm going to pause it just so you can see what's going on here. So there was a river crossing, so that's not a good plan. So my attack is down by about 10% across the board, which still puts me up, but it puts me at a disadvantage, actually, which is kind of bad. Now, here's the other thing to keep in mind, is you can look here to see everything else that's going on. This minus here is the daily losses on the flank, for that flank. It tells you what it's trying to do. It's skirmishing, and what tactics it's having. The tactics will depend on what kind of soldiers it has, but probably volley tactics. And this skirmish happens for a number of days. I did not know that this was going to be a river crossing, or else I wouldn't have come in. But I think our odds are pretty good, so we're going to keep going. And part of it too is that we have an 11 against a 3, and you can tell already that one of these have routed, one of his flanks have routed, which means that this flank is actually going to flank him, and it's going to cause more damage. And you'll see why in just a moment here. Yeah, so they're done. One more day here. Yeah, there we go. So now he has, and also one of my flanks went down. So I'm being flanked this way. And they get a 30% bonus. So his 87 guys are getting a bonus, but so are mine. And I have 417 doing it. So his is doing more damage, but that's only for the time being. So right now we're losing about the same amount per day. And his morale is staying strong. And so is mine for the moment. I am losing more guys than he is. But now it switched over to the melee phase. Now this is where things are going to get really ugly for him really fast. Because I'm not going to lose as many guys as he is. Because I have this flank here. And you'll notice now that when we go over here, he now has less guys than I do. Because he is losing more than I am. And that's going to play out until he gets routed. And it's just going to get progressively worse for him as it goes on. And he should be routing any day now, probably another day or two. Yep, he's routing. And now we're in pursuit. And until this goes down to 0, yeah. So, also, by default, this victory thing does not pause the game. So what you'll want to do is pause it when that happens. Alright, so this victory screen is actually really important to take note. So we had initially 1579, we lost 364, and we have 1215 left. He lost over half of his army, and he has 540 left. I'm going to change this message settings so that pop-up window. So it pauses the game. Let me yeah. Okay. So what these means is if you have is when in the settings when you have people of special interest or people you've starred or you. So you or people you've starred or people you've flagged. And I'll talk about that some other day. But essentially I made it so that when these battle victories come up, that will pause the game. And you can, on all these messages down in the bottom, there should be some message settings that you can do. And you can, like, for example, disable the message, show only in a log, shows a low priority message, shows a pop-up window. And I also want that to pause the game too. Alright, so it also shows how much of each type of guy we've lost. There's the infantry, there's the pikemen, the archers, heavy infantry, and I believe these are light cavalry. And you can see that we killed off most of his archers and most of his pikemen. So that will make their job a lot easier. And so, okay. Also, we gained 0.3 military points for technology. We didn't gain any piety in this matchup because we weren't facing heathens. we gained 6.9 prestige, and that was gained to Mayor Rashad. Gained that. We didn't gain that. Um, and then towards the war score, it gave 42%. So if you look at here, or 41.9. So if we look at the war score, we won the first battle, and that gave us 41. So we're at positive 41. Okay. And if you look, if we offer peace, he's not going to take enforced demands, which is give me your province. He'll probably take a white peace, but we're not going to offer it because we lose 200 prestige. Or he'll also take our unconditional surrender, which we'll lose a lot too. So he's not going to take our offer yet. So we're going to keep fighting. Okay, so he's running away. So he's going to go to Ormond. So what we'll do is chase him. The reason you want to chase is because once an army is routed, it's pretty easy to just kind of like chase them down and continue to rout them, so that your war score keeps going up, and they don't have a chance to recover. See, like this is going to go very badly for him very quickly. And we could see that this will be probably a larger route than the last one, as far as, because there's no minuses here, so I'm not getting the minus 15 penalty. Nope, that was another year. And you can see that I'm flanking him on two sides now. So once the skirmish phase is over, he's gonna rout right away. He might even rout before the skirmish phase is over. Yeah, see, he's losing a lot per day. Yeah, so he has 200 guys left, and that added another 20. And we're just going to chase him back into Desmond. And we're just going to keep doing that because that added another 20% to our total. And that will, a couple more times, or at least, like one or two more times, and that will guarantee that we win this thing without sieging too much. Because sieges take months, and when you can get away with not sieging, it's a really big help. We might end up killing them all this go around, I think. Maybe not though. Yeah, I think they're all dead. Yeah. All right, so we've completely massacred his army. So now we're at the siege. So here's how sieges work. You have your army versus the garrison. Okay, so the first thing that we're sieging is the barony of Donessed, which is the county capital. And his garrison is 648. So what's going to happen here, and we'll click on... Yeah, oh, okay, here we go. So he had some levy left that he's added to his garrison. And so that is 743. And until I get up to full morale, his morale is not going to suffer. So I'm actually going to... Oh, it's paused. I'm actually going to speed this up a little bit because sieges take forever. But essentially what this will do is, over time, his morale is just going to decrease. Okay? And at a certain point, it will give me an option to storm the holding, but it's going to be like, yeah. See, it's about 75 days, I believe. Oh, before attempting assault, 97 days. Okay, that actually can go down based on your relative army strength, and assaulting the holdings is generally a bad idea if they're relatively close in size, because you lose a lot of soldiers doing so. When assaulting makes sense is when any kind of like timing. Wow, that was a huge army. Um, yeah, we're gonna chastise them. Um, I don't know what that plot was that succeeded, but so anyway, if you have a huge army, like 20,000 guys, and you're being held up by a garrison of 50 people, which does happen every now and then. Uh, yeah, then you just climb over the walls. Um, so we got a high priority message up in the upper left here. It says food and supplies have been smuggled in, the Dunn said, increasing the morale of the defenders. Whatever. This is why it takes so long, because events keep coming up that give, that um, um, come up, and also there's also attrition for the attacking army. That's why my numbers have been slowly going down while we've been there. But eventually this will happen. You actually have to get the in order for a siege to work, you have to. Okay. Let's see what we got. We end up getting economic advances. Awesome. Um, so you actually have to have this go down to 0. And so this is going to take, another, like 48 days, or no, 80 something days, but it won't take long. And the more numbers you can throw up, the better, obviously. And that was year 3. Also, it's a good idea for your attacking numbers. You can't siege unless your attacking numbers are more than the defenders. I honestly don't know whether or not this is going to get the score up to 100%. I assume it will, but I might have to siege one more holding in order for this to work. Nope, that did it. Oh, my wife is pregnant. Awesome. Okay, so gained some gold. No piety. Lost a couple hundred soldiers in the process. And now it's at 100%. So I will offer peace. I'll enforce my demands. Essentially, I become his new liege, and I gain 100 prestige. We'll see if he did it. Yep. So he is now my liege. Not he is now my liege, but I am now his liege. So I'm going to go ahead and disband this because there's no reason to hold it. So there's a revolt in Navarra, and he wants our help. We'll go ahead and say yes to that, even though we're not going to send anyone. Okay. So how do things shape up now? So even even though we went to war, he still has a positive opinion of me, which is good. What about um, the other Earl? So something else that goes on is if you raise someone's levies over time, those that's actually going to um, um, over time. What's going to happen with that is it's going to slowly cut away at the opinion of your vassals. So if we look at his opinion, you could say that raise levies, and it goes down fairly quick, but it was at -7. Okay, looks like we had a kid. We had a son. And are we going to call him Auger? Yeah, why not? Little Augie. Oops, that's not my son. Alright, so first thing, when a son is born, you want to look to see if he has any traits. It doesn't look like he does. Um, eh, okay. So it is possible, even though he is 0 years old, literally born a week ago, you see here that we can actually betroth him to somebody already. It's not a terrible idea to just look to see if there's anyone in the 0 to 2 years old range that might be desirable for us to link him with. Um, it's attractive, sickly though. Attractive isn't as much of a positive trait as it might seem. So another way you can quickly find genius people, or at least quicker than anything, especially children, since they don't have a whole lot of positive effects. We know genius gives +5 to everything. So if you go down, if you sort by clicking one of these higher ones, and go down to 5, and see if there's any ones with 5 all the way across, then you know that they're genius. Also, you'll be able to see it down here. There isn't any, so we're not going to betroth them to anybody. We're going to wait on that. And every now and then I'm going to come in here and check on him to see if he has someone who I want to betroth him to. All right, so it looks like we can spend our points here in the advances. So let's take a look. Heavy infantry. This will give another 3% attack and defense. That's another year. That year went really fast because we turned the speed up here. So I think we're going to go with... well, military organization is actually pretty good because that'll give us access to retinues. So how... That's only going to cost us 80. I think I'm going to save it so that I can boost up military organization faster. Town infrastructure. Court mustering grounds 4. Castle fortifications. Port, which... okay, so I think I'm going to boost the town infrastructure. There's no real reason not to boost, but boost them to unless you feel like it's a waste of resources. But see, I waited too long, or it took too long for me to have a son, and now Paragon of Virtue is not there. So I think what I'm gonna do is take well, I could take King of Ireland. It allows me to... I can't cancel the ambition, and I'm not pagan, so I don't get the subjugation casus belli. But if I do become king of Ireland before I die, I get 1,000 prestige, which is a lot of score. And there's really no reason for me to take any of these other ones. So I'm gonna try that. Yeah, his ambition is to become the king of Ireland. Okay, so also you can see here now that there is a vassals raised too long, and it shows you which vassals you get a minus from. Um, Also, I should mention one kind of game breaking thing. I feel like if amass wealth is one of your ambitions, you can actually take the loan from the Jewry and it counts towards the 500. So if you have like 150 or whatever, you could take their 300 and now you're really close. Or if you're at 200, you could take their 300 and now you have enough to fulfill your ambition, and then you can just pay them right back. Um, I don't know whether or not they intended that to be the case, but that's how it works. Um, so we were also going to look here to see how our opinion with the bishopric is working. 47, that's not bad. Okay. So let's see here. What are we going to do next? So our next bet is actually to um, well, there are a couple of things we can do here. We can now, because we have this guy, and he's going to have soon a better opinion of us. We know that he's going to be able to give us more soldiers in relatively short order once he um, lets go of me attacking him before. So when we go into him, he'll be able to provide us with more than 42. Um, he'll be able to give us 300 or 400, which on top of the 1200 is going to be enough to take over another one of these places. However, we have no claim to any of these other places, so the problem we're going to run into is we don't have a claim. So what we actually want to do is create some fabricate claims. So we have to decide which one of these four do we want to be the next county we take over. I don't know. Um, they all have their niceties. Hmm. I think the person in the lowest position is probably Ossuary. I could be wrong. Hmm. Sorry. So let's see. No, probably not him. Um, what about this guy? Yeah, so I think the next one is going to be probably Ossuary. So what we'll do is we'll go into our counselor and we'll go to fabricate claims and select Ossuary. All right. Um, and I'm going to look at my vassal screen again. Um, Yeah, so that was how military stuff goes. And as far as the fabricate claims go, this might take a while for this to actually go through. Um, so unfortunately, there's not much else for me to show you at the moment. All right, yeah. So I think we're going to end the episode here. Nothing seems to be happening. Oh, wait a second here. Something just popped up. So this popped up. Righteous imprisonment. So Earl of Desmond. Um, we can imprison him without incurring uh, any penalty, probably because there is a known plot. He is fabricating a claim. So here's the thing. Yes, we can actually ask him to end the plot under the diplomacy, um, and he's going to say no. But if he liked us, for example, or if we were a powerful ruler, he would say, of course, no. But in this case, because we know he's going to say no, we're going to try imprisoning him. And we have about a 50% chance of this happening. If we do, we get his title. If not, we go to civil war. And that could be problematic for us, but we'll try it. We got it. Okay, so if you if you imprison one of your vassals because there is a plot against them, you can then strip his title without any um, without any prestige penalty. Oh, actually, this will. Revoking it will actually do that. It will raise, it will lower my other vassal's opinion by me by 20. Um, I can take that hit, especially with Rangvald now at 91. Um, uh, yeah, I'm going to do that because if I revoke his title, that means I get his title. That means that my domain is now 2. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Why can't I do it? Oh, I must have a special reason. Okay, I don't. So I could also banish him. But again, it would also lower everything. All of his titles will be confiscated. Um, Actually, that's about the same as revoking his title. So I'm going to do that. Here's the thing: is tyranny only affects you for a certain amount of time. So I think it's like 10 years or something like that. So this negative 20 might come back and bite me when I want to, for example, change it to elective monarchy or tanistry. But for right now, this seems the best bet. So we're going to exile him. Okay, so you can see now that he has been exiled to Oriel, and now I am now the Earl of Desmond, as well as the Earl of Thomond and the Petty King of Munster. And you can see now when I click on Desmond, I see my face. Okay, and you can also see up here that now it's 2 of 6. The really nice thing about this now is now that I have um, two counties, is when I go into the military, you see now my maximum is 1989. Now I have way more military at my disposal because now I can raise the entire county's levy as opposed to whatever the Earl of that county decides. And if I ever got the opportunity to, I would also revoke this person's title too, Ragnvald's title. But it doesn't look like I'm going to. Because he has, well, I could off his heir though. Let's see, what is the percentage of me being able to off his heir? 51%. I think that might be the best plan. Because he's 50, he's not going to have a whole lot more chances to get heirs. And if he dies with no heir, the county goes to me. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the council, and we're going to build spy network in Ormond. And what that will do is that will help us get people involved. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start this plot. So my plot is going to be to try and kill Olav Ragnarsson. Okay, so I've decided it's time for this little one to leave the world. And I can invite people to the thing. And you can see that there are a bunch of potential collaborators. And now that we seized that guy's land, we got a healthy amount of gold. There are a couple people who will say yes to helping us if we give them gold, because they're amoral. If they're at a red thumbs down, they're definitely not going to help us. If they're a green thumbs up, that means they will. So I'm actually going to send this guy a gift. That'll be 31, and then I'm going to invite him to my plot. Okay, so let's go back to intrigue. And let's see. This guy's 11% for a bribe. Let's see how much he wants. Yeah, we're going to do it. The other nice thing about doing bribing people to help with their plots is if you're doing it in your own country, all you're doing is you're basically improving your future court members, right? So that's always a good thing. Alright, so we'll let this go, and we'll get notifications saying that they will, in fact, back my plot. And you can see that my plot is now at 83%, which is lower than I want it to be, but it means that 83% means it could happen. Okay. We'll speed this up in case, because there's nothing really else going on right now. This guy died. He was the Bishop of Killow, and now my guy is now the bishop there, although he doesn't like me very much. Alright, well, I think it might have been because I didn't name a successor. Yeah, I don't think I did. So, this time I will. And I think this time I'm going to name him. And for this guy, yeah, him. What's interesting here is that I did not pick the person second for the second one, who was someone who liked me the most, or I didn't pick someone who was the most learned. I just picked someone who, in those positions, since the learning stat doesn't really affect their job much, I just put up people up there who I could potentially use as my lackeys. Um, so let's continue here. All right. Yeah, so we know that our reinforcement rate in this county is at plus 50%, which means that this number will creep fast to 2159 that much faster. Okay, if nothing happens before the end of the year, I think I'll end the episode here at the end of the year, and hope that you guys come back for some more. And next time, what we're going to do is we're going to push heavier into Northern Ireland and try to uh, see if my character can become the King of Ireland. Okay, thank you all for watching, and hope you have a good day.